So this is the box that my desk came in. So let's open that up and see what parts are inside. I opened the box up and mine came with 2 sets of instructions. They both appear to be the same thing, both in English. And when you take the top sheet of styrofoam off, there's another box below it. And below that, there's another layer of cardboard sheeting and 2 other hardware boxes and some frame pieces just below the styrofoam. And just below that, there are some pieces of stiffened cardboard to make the box sturdier, as well as a bunch more styrofoam. And then you can see there's some frame pieces. I'll gather everything up and show you all the boxes that my box contained. So what we've got here is the frame pieces and the pull-out keyboard tray. We've got 2 small hardware boxes, a larger hardware box, and the bigger hardware or bigger box on the end there, which should be the glass top surface and the glass for the keyboard. In one of the small hardware boxes, we've got what appears to be the keyboard rails and a bag of screws and other hardware pieces to put everything together with. In one of the larger hardware pieces, we've got some more framing. Looks like it may be the bottom piece to hold on the keyboard tray. In the long slender box, we have some framing pieces and a back support. After inspecting the pieces of the framing, each piece seemed to be in good shape, no burrs or rough pieces or rough edges. All the welding joints look to be nice and clean, and the screw and bolt holes look to be in good shape as well. For the big box, the big flat piece box that has the glass in it, it's best if you open each end and then open the middle. That way you can raise the middle part box up and then cut it with your box cutter like I have here. That way you don't scratch the glass with your box cutter blade. The box containing the glass does have a layer of styrofoam covering the glass, so to help protect that as well. And I think there should be a large piece for the desktop and then a smaller piece for the keyboard tray. I have inspected the glass and there do not appear to be any burrs or any bad spots in the glass. And underneath that is the smaller piece that I was just talking about. And there is a smaller piece. I just pulled it out. And there is the larger piece that is sitting against the wall there. Before we get started putting the desk together, let's make sure we have all the parts. We should have 2 desk legs, which those are over here leaning up against the back of my sofa, the big X looking things. An upper crossbar, which was in that long slender box that we looked at just in the floor just below. We have the lower crossbar, should be one of those, which is in the middle piece of that box. The upper crossbar I just mentioned should be 2 pieces, which I believe we have those as well. Then we should have left keyboard tray support and a right keyboard tray support. Those are those F-looking brackets I showed earlier, and there were 2 of those. Then we need the keyboard tray frame, which is right there, the corner where it's in the floor right there. Then we have the large desk glass and the keyboard tray glass, which there's the large against the wall, and then there's the small against the bottom of the sofa. And our hardware list, we should have 1 Allen wrench, 8 small screws, 12 medium bolts, 4 desk feet. These are screw-in adjustable desk feet. 8 rubber suction cups, and 2 pieces of keyboard tray slider, and that is in the first box that we showed that had the red back. So let's get started with putting everything together. This desk was made by Walker Edison Furniture Company. These are some smaller bags that contain the other pieces of hardware that were inside the bigger red bag. So there's the Allen wrench. These feel like the feet screws for the frame. Some small bolts. Suction cups. And then some larger bolts. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is going to take these screw-in feet pieces that go in the bottom of each of the frame pieces. So there's 4 of these, 2 on each frame piece, and I'll go ahead and do that now. So there's the frame where the feet just goes in and just screws into place. I'm going to screw these all the way in so that they'll be easy to adjust later. Okay, I've got the feet in the bottom of the frame on each side. Now I'm going to move on to step 2, which looks like it will be assembling the keyboard tray. Okay, for putting the keyboard tray supports, we're going to need to make sure that we have both F-looking brackets, and that when you put it together, you have the right side, which you can see is labeled 4L on one side, and oh, there it is, and 4R. You want to make sure that you have the bolt holes on the inside, because that's where your keyboard slider tray is going to go. So right side, left side, and then you'll need the upper crossbars. These are the upper crossbars, the long square pieces, and they have bolt holes on each end. And then there's also a piece for suction cups, I think is what's going to go there. So this is going to be the top with the big piece of glass sits on. And it will connect something like that on each end. As you can see, there's screw holes or bolt holes on each of those. So we'll put that together and show you what the finished product looks like for the keyboard tray. You're going to need 4 big bolts and the Allen wrench. So there's the upper glass support and the keyboard tray supports. You want to make sure that when you're putting this together that you make sure that the holes on the long crossbars are face up and the legs on the supports are down, because that's where your suction cups are going to go to support your glass on the top. So you want to make sure that those holes are face up, and you don't want to over tighten the bolts. One bolt goes on each end. You want to make sure that you don't over tighten those and strip out the nut that's on the inside of the keyboard tray support. Next, we're going to take the upper glass support and we're going to attach it to the side frame, and then we are going to attach the middle frame support, and then we'll do the other side, and I'll show you each step as I complete it. It's actually going to be easier to use the back support to start off with. Put that in, bolt that to the middle piece on the frame there, using the large bolts that I showed before. That would be these that have the Allen wrench hex head. You will need 2 for this piece on each side, and then you'll need 2 also for the bigger piece to go up top, 1 on each end as well. So this is how I'm approaching it. I'm doing one end at a time, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the other side. First, the directions say to do it one side at a time, to put all the bolts from here to here and here on one side at a time, and then attach the other piece. But I'm going to do a little differently since I'm doing this by myself. So that's what I've got so far. I did not tighten it down all the way on both ends because I'm going to have to fit the keyboard support tray and upper desk mount in there, and if I got it too tight, it wouldn't allow me the flexibility to squeeze it between. So I'm going to put in there, tighten it up on one side, but I'm going to put in all 4 bolts first. If you're doing it the way I'm doing it, which is a little different than the instructions say to do, you can mount 2 bolts, one on each side, and you don't have to tighten them down all the way. And then that piece will swing there, and then you can just swing it up and put it in place and put the other 2 bolts in, and then you're ready to tighten down all the bolts that were loose from here, 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 the back on each end. And there is the frame all pieced together and tightened down. And now we're ready for the next step. Now we're going to take the slider arms, which have some machine oil on them to keep them good and smooth so they slide easy. So just be careful of that. You'll get some of that residue on your fingers like I did, and you'll need to wipe your hands off so they're not leaving fingerprints and marks all over the framework. So you have one touch on each end, but first we've got to assemble it, and I'll do that now. So in this step, we're going to take these apart. So this actual slider piece will come off this little bracket. To take them apart, you extend it out, and there's a little lever right here. You just press it down and pull it apart. To do this, you'll need these small bolts with a Phillips head and a Phillips head screwdriver. Make sure that you get a screwdriver that fits snugly into the head. You don't want to get one that's too small so that it spins around in there, because then you will strip out the screw, and then you'll just have an all around harder time and have a hard time getting the screw tightened down when it's stripped out. So just make sure you get one that fits very snug and doesn't have a lot of room to move. Now we're going to mount the slider arm piece onto the keyboard frame bracket. We'll do that on both sides. This is what it looks like when it's finished. So next we'll move on to attaching the brackets there to the legs of the keyboard support bracket, and then we'll attach back the slider tray, the keyboard tray, to the keyboard support mount. We will continue to use these small bolts, so we'll use 4 of those. You want to be sure that the bracket itself, the opening, is facing out towards you. Now we're going to attach the suction cups to the top of the glass support, and then we're also going to put it on the keyboard support mount. And all you do to put those in is just put your finger like that, put it in the hole, and press down till it pops into place. Okay, I've got my suction cups installed. Now it's time to put the keyboard tray, attach it to the base, and then we can install our glass. All you do is insert the slider arms into the brackets. and then it'll catch into the little solder tray, and it just it may take several times of you pushing the keyboard tray in and out to get it to go smoothly. You could also take some WD-40 or some of the type of lubricant if you want to make that go a little smoother. Okay, now it's time to install the glass. We just take the glass, set it inside on the suction cups, and then we want to press on where the suction cups are, not in the middle of the glass, to make sure it has a good tight fit and is not going to move. Now that we have our glass installed, we can get some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, or some type of soap and water to remove the stickers from the glass and the other labeling stickers from each individual piece of the desk. If you're looking for an easy desk to assemble and is affordable, check the link in the description. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below, and have a nice day.